Good morning. We are out here for a slightly atypical adventure by my standards. I am currently in Monterey, California for the Saturday of Monterey Car Week. I am heading to the Exotics on Broadway event, which should have a ton of really cool, rare, exclusive cars that I'm really excited to see. I've already seen some amazing Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Mercedes SLS driving around, but the really good cars are supposed to be at the show, and I can't wait to check them out. As soon as I walked into the show, I was greeted by this exquisite Lamborghini Countach LP 5000 Quattro Valvoli model. While this is probably one of the oldest cars at the show, it kind of is the hypercar granddaddy, and you could really make an argument that this show wouldn't exist if cars like this hadn't been built back in the 70s and the 80s. Another car from years past worth paying homage to is this Ferrari F40. This was the first ever production car to go over 200 miles per hour back in the late 80s. I particularly enjoyed the interior. To make the car go that fast, they really had to strip it down, so there's no floor mats, there's no nothing. You just see bare carbon fiber, some weird green goo, big old fire extinguisher, the footwell of the passenger side. It's something. The engine cover of this car was also really nice. It's big, super clear, those windows open to the air really let you get up close and personal with the engine of this really special car. The car that really paved the way for the super fast, super exclusive, super expensive hypercars that we have today is the Bugatti Veyron. This car was the first car to ever be priced above $1 million, and its quad turbocharged W16 engine allowed this car to break a 10-year production car top speed record that was formerly held by the Mclaren F1. Although the show mainly focused on exotic cars, there are a few luxury cars that are worth mentioning, namely these next two Rolls Royces. I really liked this Phantom drophead coupe that had this two-tone paint on the front and kind of like a brushed aluminum thing going on the hood was really neat. But what I liked the most was on the back. This teak decking is really classic and absolutely gorgeous. The last detail I really liked was this piano black interior. It was spotless, elegant, absolutely incredible. This Mansory Phantom might be the one for you if you want something a little less nautical and more sinister. The bodywork that they did made the car look a lot more aggressive, and the interior with this bright orange leather was absolutely incredible. This Aston Martin 177 was absolutely poetry in motion. Made around the 2010s, only 77 of them were produced. With a V12 rated for 750 horsepower and a tested top speed at 220 miles per hour, this car clearly drives just as good as it looks. I had to run to get a shot of this Mercedes-Benz SLR Mclaren while it was in motion because it was really too cool. I love this really long hood with the F1 inspired nose, with the Mercedes logo in the middle, but my favorite design element is these wheels. I just think they're way too cool. While 765 of these McLaren 765 LTs were made, which means it really wasn't that rare by all the standards of this show, I just had to stop and feature it because it was beautiful. I'd never seen two-tone carbon fiber before, and I really loved the color of this sort of red maroon carbon on the accents. Lastly, the finish of this was incredible. It was sparkling in the sun, and the carbon fiber was immaculate. Nothing to see here, just two Bugatti Chirons hanging out, pretty casual, about $6 million split between two cars. Just a normal day here during Monterey Car Week. This Ferrari F50 was probably car number 20 of the 100 I saw that I'm never ever gonna see again. First of all, beautiful example, the classic Ferrari Rosso Corsa, exactly what you want. And I have to say that this car looked a lot better in person than I was expecting. Something about the pictures don't really do it justice. I feel like in the pictures, like the spoiler just kind of looks a little like weird and bulbous, but in person, just the lines and the spoiler's integration with the rest of the car was really beautiful, and I enjoyed it. I actually gained a lot of respect for this car seeing it in person. It's not every day you see a Hennessy Venom F5, let alone 6 of them in a row. These things were nuts. 6.6 liter twin turbocharged V8 engine putting out 1,800 horsepower. That's an almost irresponsible amount. The car themselves were beautiful. They had great stance, great presence. I really liked the color schemes, the mix of the paint and the carbon fiber. The real belle of the ball, though, between these Venoms was definitely this Evolution Roadster, which was nuts. The exposed carbon with the gold accents was really something. At first I couldn't tell what this car was, and that was probably because it's a Noble M400. Only 75 of these were made from 2006 to 2007 in England, and I'm sure very few of them made it across the pond to the United States. Of those 75, I'm also sure several of them have been crashed because the M400 has no anti-lock brakes, no stability control, no traction control, and no airbags. Putting all the dangers aside, however, this car's acceleration of 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds back in 2007 was incredibly impressive, leading some people to say that this thing offered Ferrari Enzo performance at Porsche 911 prices. That's the sound of a Maserati MC12 that I would bet my life was straight piped. That was the loudest car sound I have ever heard. I am 99% sure that this Maserati MC12 is actually one of the Version course models, which is the track-specific race-only model, which shouldn't technically be street legal, but somehow it was driving. Only 62 of these were ever made for the whole world, 50 of which were the usual road cars, and 12 were the Version course, so regardless of which one it is, this is still probably the second rarest car that I saw at the show, and it was incredible. That Ferrari Enzo V12 just hollering in the back was something I'm never going to forget. The rarest car I saw at the show was this, which is the Apollo Intensa Emozione. There are 10 of these made for the entire world, and this thing absolutely floored me. This was one of the few cars at the event I actually had to ask somebody what it was, because I just had absolutely no idea, and it was crazy. When you think of a hypercar, you think of just insane head-turning styling that makes you stop in your tracks and just have your jaw hit the floor, and that's this car. It has everything a hypercar needs, you know, massive diffuser down low, exposed carbon fiber, some crazy color accents, some air vents above the wheels, gull wing doors, a massive spoiler with a fin in the back as well for high speed stability. This thing was insane. Of all the design elements, I think my favorite one was actually the exhaust. That three-prong exhaust was wild and was really unlike any other car that I saw at the show. Overall, this was unforgettable, probably something I'm never going to see ever again, but it's something that you can see at Exotics on Broadway. This McLaren Solus GT was my favorite car of the show. I just think the styling is bonkers, and it's kind of supposed to be. This was originally designed for the Gran Turismo video games as one of the Vision concept cars by McLaren, and they decided to turn it into the real thing. So there's going to be 25 of these for the world. They are track only, and with a price tag of around $4 million, I also believe it was the most expensive car at the show, and I just thought it was absolutely breathtaking, totally nuts and crazy. Another head turner was this McLaren Sabre, which is one of 15. This car was made exclusively for the North American market, and it's a McLaren Senna underneath, so you know it's insane, and they just turned the styling up to 11. What I find most interesting is that this paint job actually came from the factory, and they call it Pacific Color Stream, and it's beautiful. If we're going to mention the Senna, we may as well showcase the ones that were there, and there were quite a few. I have to say, in person, I really thought this car looked good. Sometimes it gets criticized for being really angular and not really attractive, but I thought amongst all these other hypercars that are absolute works of art, it fit right in. I kind of liked all the crazy line, angles, design choices, and the really big side vents. The black one especially was beautiful. I think that was the best paint that I saw at the whole show. Like, the way that it was just glistening in the sun was incredible. In addition to the two Sennas, they also had two Senna GTRs, which are the crazy turned up race versions, and I'm sure they're a ton of fun to take around the track. I saw the nose of this car when I came around a corner, and at first I thought it was an Aventador. As soon as I saw the vents on the side with the extra gills, I was really excited because I knew that this was the Centenario. This is one of 20 Lamborghini Centenario coupes, which was meant to celebrate the 100th birthday of their founder, Ferruccio Lamborghini, and this thing is nuts. I mean, Lamborghinis are always nuts, and then they really went to town with the design choices on this one, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. Loved the color, I loved all the extra sort of gill work they did. This car is a little more than just an Aventador with a body kit. It actually has some new tech, including rear wheel steer as well as new infotainment. But the real highlight's the back. I mean, look at what's going on with this diffuser, the triple exhaust, just classic Lamborghini craziness. This Aston Martin Valkyrie is apparently the first customer car in the United States, and it's absolutely incredible. This thing is an engineering marvel with a 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12 that's producing about 1,000 horsepower and a red line above 11,000 RPM, giving the car over 1,000 horsepower per ton. This thing truly is the race car for the road, and the design elements, all the aero stuff is really a sight to see. This is a North American supercar, the SSC Tuatara, which was at the center of some controversy many years ago when it claimed that it reached speeds above 300 miles per hour, which have since been disproven. Regardless of the controversy, this car, one, looks beautiful, and you can tell it's built for speed. Really, really curvy. It claims to have a coefficient of drag of 0.279. Teeny tiny little side view mirrors and all these things definitely show that it's built for speed. We have two more car brands left that we want to showcase, and we're going to start here with Koenigsegg. The brainchild of this guy, Christian von Koenigsegg. It was really, really cool that they had such a presence at this event, especially considering that it's free. This Agera RS, nicknamed Draken, was absolutely incredible. All the carbon fiber work on all these Koenigsegg's was amazing. It was really cool to see these cars in person. These are both Agera FEs, which stand for Final Edition. We have the Vader car as well as the Thor car present, both in a gorgeous bare carbon. This is one of the new CC 850s, which is an homage to one of their original cars with some serious upgrades. This can actually be driven like a manual, which a lot of people are really, really excited about. And it was based on these. This is the CC XR, which is a slightly modified version of one of the original Koenigseggs. And here we have what I believe is one of the original in an amazing bare carbon. Got that really cool, like, round interior, manual gear shift, just engineering perfection. Enough of the old, this is the new, and this was one of the main events of this show for sure. This is the Jesko Attack, which is the downforce version of the Koenigsegg Jesko. Named after the founder's father, this thing is very, very serious and absolutely beautiful in person. With the right fuel, this thing can produce up to 1,600 horsepower, and it has all sorts of crazy cutting-edge engine tech that is going to make it one of the fastest cars in the world, if not the fastest car in the world, when they finally get around to testing it. As nerdy as this is, I think my favorite moment of the show was actually seeing the people driving this car, which is a Rugera, get out of it. Koenigsegg has these crazy doors that they call di-synchro helix, which are electrically operated and are really proper supercar doors because they move in so many different dimensions in such a crazy way. Just seeing the people get out of the car and then shut the doors was absolutely an unforgettable moment, and I'm so happy I got to see it in person. The last automaker we have to discuss was the brainchild of this gentleman, Mr. Horatio Pagani. When you think of a hypercar, his company should be at the forefront of your mind because it just embodies everything that these incredible engineering marvels and works of art truly embody. All of his cars are amazingly serious, V12 AMG power, and just a very unique design language, incredible, outrageous styling, all these incredible touches. The interiors of his cars especially are nuts. Some of the other exotics really have kind of bare bones interior, but he goes all out in there with beautiful sort of aluminum vents, visible shift linkages, bright leather. Absolutely beautiful. Prior to this show, I had seen one Pagani in the wild before, which was a Zonda. And although there were no Zondas here, there were more Huayras than I could even imagine. There was more than 10, probably closer to 15, and they were of every single varieties. There were coupes, there were roadsters, there were even Huayra BCs, which is the really special track-focused one. There were Huayra BC Roadsters. About 6 of them came in all at the same time. I don't know if they were going on a little rally or a cruise together or something, but it was insane when just like 5 drove right by. And when they were parked, it was just incredible. Some of the best carbon fiber work, all the colors, all the design elements, the flare, the vents, everything was just awe-inspiring, which is exactly what a hypercar is supposed to be. This was my favorite hypercar of the show. This is the Pagani Huayra R, which is the super special track focused. There's only 30 of these on the planet, and it's just absolutely outrageous. I loved the design, and I really liked everything from the color. The Italian flag on the side was really, really cool. The gold wheels, like, this car made me feel things, and that's exactly what a hypercar is supposed to invoke. So I am leaving the event, and all I can say is, wow, that was incredible. It was so much fun, and it was so amazing to see so many amazing cars, see some pretty well-known influencers, the Daily Driven Exotic guys, the Hamilton Collection, Christian von Koenigsegg, Horatio Pagani, and so many incredible automobiles. That was a great, great day. Comes highly recommended. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. I'll probably be back soon with some of my more regular outdoor content, but this was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on another one.